1275. I have more on my legs. It's I have no words. I'm speechless.
Trackflation at the high school and youth level has been running rampant these past couple years. But today specifically was a terrifying example of what our future looks like as these teenage phenoms finally bleed onto the professional scene. 17-year-old Cooper Lutkenhouse has now beaten everyone in the golden generation of men's 800 meter running.
One last push! Oh, it's so close on the line!
Holding off the recent world champion, Olympic champion and number 2 equal all-time Emmanuel Wanyonyi in a brutal bull rush to the finish. And in a new PR to top it all off. China's 18-year-old Ziyi Yan followed up her number 2 all-time in the women's javelin.
The second furthest in history at the age of 18.
With a humble 67-meter throw, a top 10 throw in the last 5 years, clapping an entire Diamond League field by 6 meters. And then there was Gout Gout.
Tobacco is exerting his superiority and he jogs over the line.
Not everything goes swimmingly first try, but I don't think any of us were prepared for this generation to be taking world records already. As out in Eugene, Oregon at the D1 NCAA Championships, an up-and-coming 20-year-old collegiate athlete would utterly obliterate the 110 hurdle world record in a prelim race. Auburn University's Jacoby Tharp. Anyone who had been following Tharp this year and the last knew he was about to go quick. His PR set at a nice 13.01. The NCAA record was 12.98 by Grant Holloway. But in no way could anyone have guessed we would get hurdling perfection.
Good start from Tharp, Arkansas. Now here comes Tharp asserting himself. His dominance. He just made an amazing move between hurdle 3 and 4, and he was going for that time. 12.75 with 1 meter per second of wind. That is insane.
I just wanted you to witness it without commentary the first time round. So now, let's slow it down. Instantly, off the gun, a great reaction, and Tharp is clearly the first to hurdle 1, which is exceptionally quick even for him. This year at the NCAA Indoor Champs in the 60-meter hurdles, at hurdle 1, he was level with the collegiate field. And even last year at the USA Champs, in which he later won this race, he was arguably 4th or 5th to the first hurdle. But that is against pros, and obviously it's very fine margins, but it goes without saying, in a short sprint, every 100th counts. At hurdle 2 to 6 of this race, he grows an exceptional gap on the field, but truthfully, widened his gap at every point of this race, even continuing through the last hurdle, into the mythical time we all will come to know as the world record for the next 20 years minimum, unless of course he beats it himself. And as is the bar for a perfect race, he sneaks over every hurdle without any major licks, and his execution over every hurdle is just so quick compared to everyone else in the field. I'll slow it down, so just focus on how quick his leg gets up and then immediately snaps down, propelling him into his next stride quicker than any of these other runners. It's just plain and simple. He's at another caliber compared to these other athletes. And yeah, I understand some of you might point out, this direct comparison here to collegiate athletes in a heat might not mean as much as say if this was a race against a pro field. Except for the fact, in second place is Demario Prince, who ran 13.15. That's simply an elite time. That would have qualified for last year's final at the World Championships. It would have even come 4th in said final. And even then, Demario Prince, the guy in second, was at last year's World Champs in the semi-finals representing Jamaica. This field is legitimately quick, they just all got their backs utterly blown out. And while all I can do is glaze his form, from inside the mind of the guy who ran the race, he thought his finish was trash.
The stuff you dream about. What's it like to come across live and see 12.75?
Bro, coach just said execute. My last 3 hurdles were kind of trash. 12.75. I have more on my legs.
The type of things athletes feel to what we see is a world apart. 12.75 is clearing away a new world record by 0.05 seconds, and it makes him the first athlete to surpass the 12.8 barrier. He's entered completely new territory alone. But what's utterly preposterous is to nail this time, he had to obliterate his personal best by an entire quarter of a second. And all at 20 years old in the heats of the NCAA Championships. He still has a final to run later this week where he seriously might run even faster. But whether he runs faster this weekend or not, I don't think it matters too much, considering how criminal a world record at 20 years old actually is. First, let's just take a look at the top 10 fastest 110 hurdlers of all time, which obviously, now he's at the top, but he's also the youngest. The average age for a top 10 hurdler to peak being 24.8 years old. It's not a big data pool, but statistically, he can only get better. And even then, it becomes clear just what type of monster we're dealing with when we look at other modern day athletes who broke outright world records at the age of 20. The first being Mondo Duplantis jumping 6:17 in 2020, and then Tharp. And that's it. Alright, if we do raise the requirement to age 21, the list looks like this. These are some diabolical names to be amongst. It's literally just a collection of the most decorated legends in the sport, and now Tharp. But with a PR and world record drop so massive, at such a young age, and in such an unlikely meet like the heats of an NCAA championship, it does beg the question, was the time legit? And I think it's a fair question to ask, especially when the NCAA has been known to fudge sometimes. But in the case of Tharp, I want to stop this argument right here. From what we currently know, this is legit as a world record gets. For starters, Tharp as an athlete was an underrated prodigy last year. At age 19, he won NCAAs in both the 60-meter hurdles and 110 hurdles. He then went on to run the rounds at USAs and win the trials outright against more than one athlete in the top 10 of all time. And then at the World Champs, he made it all the way to the final as a serious medal contender, just to fall short after an extremely lengthy season in 6th place. Unlike many upcoming young prodigies, at 19, he had proved himself more than the majority. He could run fast against anyone and anywhere, which then led into this year where he emerged significantly faster immediately. He won another indoor NCAA title, in a time an entire 10th of a second faster than last year, before running a bunch of low 13 time like this. Anyone paying attention saw a fast time coming. I predicted a low 12.9 to high 12.8, but this was a shock. And secondly, where we've seen one-off, unreplicable times confirmed by the fact that everyone ran massive PRs in the same race, the best examples being Jordan Anthony's 1975 from last year, and then sadly Gout's 1967, as much as it pains me right now, but this wasn't one of those moments. Today, across all heats of the hurdles at the NCAA Champs, we only saw 5 PRs, and then 1 equal PR. And of everyone, Tharp actually showing the largest deficit. So not only were there only 5 personal bests spread across 3 races, Tharp was the only guy to do it in his race. As it stands, I firmly believe this time is as legit as it gets. Tharp is a super talent, and we're just seeing the start of his blossom.
So how does Jacoby go to bed at night now, knowing he's a world record holder?
Same I do all the time, man. Just keep on going, race after race. Don't try to look too far in the future and focus on the thing at hand.
Aries Merritt previous world record of 12.80 seconds stood for 14 years for good reason. Merritt was considered one of the greatest technicians in the event. As opposed to what Google says, Merritt was 6 foot on a good day, which is undersized for an elite hurdler. So to make this disadvantage work, he had to run better than anyone else. And because of that, visually, he was simply quicker over the hurdles, even in the best of fields, getting his lead leg up and snapping it down like lightning, just like Tharp. Except Tharp is 6'4". In the hurdles, this is our first taste of what happens when the right frame meets the ultimate execution. Tharp runs again on Friday in the NCAA finals, so keep an eye out. We might see something even crazier. And stay tuned to the channel, as this weekend I'll upload a full recap, spilling my guts on Cooper, Yan, and especially Gout. Plus whatever other hijinks we might see in the NCAAs. See you all next time.